Is James Gunn going to leave DC? Is he going to be replaced? Is this the end of the DCU? Why did Supergirl flop? We have news on the Creature Commandos. We also have an update on a Mr. Terrific television show. Today on DC Wednesdays here on Zazy Reviews, we have a whole lot to discuss about the DCU. Be that guy, but Creature Commandos, in my opinion, is the best thing that has came out in the DCU. Yes, I'm taking Creature Commandos over Superman, over Supergirl. Lanterns has not came out yet, so maybe my opinion might change. But yes, Creature Commandos is the best DCU project so thus far in this universe. And I was ecstatic when we just got some updates on season 2 that should be coming out sometime next year. I cannot wait for that. We get Man of Tomorrow next year, but there are going to be 10 episodes for season 2 of Creature Commandos. Let me just be frank. When it was announced that James Gunn was going to start the DCU universe with the animation project of the Creature Commandos, which in the comics, it was very on par to what James did with the Guardians of the Galaxy. They took a rag team bunch of misfit characters, form them up into a team, make it in his own unique way, lovable way, in which the Guardians, since he left Marvel to go to DC, the Guardians in this whole tenure there has been a Marvel mainstay. Rocket, you got Groot, who's beloved, Chris Pratt being Star-Lord, we had Nebula, we even had Drax with Dave Bautista. The whole Guardians cast and characters are beloved throughout Disney and throughout Marvel. And James Gunn put his own little twist on the comic and made it into live action, in which we all love to this day. And when he took over at DCU and he said, you know what, I'm going to be starting off my universe with Creature Commandos, a lot of people, including myself, were very hesitant. Like, why are you not starting off with the Superman movie? Why are you not starting off with the Batman or Wonder Man? Who knows, maybe even a Flash. But no, he said, I want to do a Creature Commandos animation show. So when that show released, I watched the first episode. I was kind of not feeling it. But eventually, after watching the whole season and recently rewatching all of season 1, I just love the show. James Gunn has the unique ability, in which he showed at Marvel, to just make you love the characters. In Superman, with David Cornsweet, who I did not know besides some other acting roles that he did, like in Twisters in the Hollywood show. He took Clark Kent, that's really different than Henry Cavill's version, and make me love the whole Superman movie. And Clark especially, and David's phenomenal in that role. And as someone who's been very harsh on James Gunn and his direction of how he wants this universe to go, I'm proud to say that Creature Commandos and the Superman were A+ for me. And I'm just happy that we are getting Creature Commandos season 2 next year. And we just got an update that there will be the 10 episodes of Creature Commandos. I'm ecstatic. At the end of the show, we got to see the bride, who's the new leader of the Creature Commandos. And I don't know what's in store because I didn't really read the Creature Commandos comics. But I do know from what the showrunner has said is that the GI robot plays a big factor in season 2. Has a bigger story arc, and I cannot wait. And I also love how they did with the Frankenstein in the last season. I love how they had Rick Flag there, not Junior, Rick Flag. I like the involvement of the Queen actually being the culprit of behind the whole shenanigans in season 1. So I'm looking forward. It's one of my most anticipated television shows for next year, and it is Creature Commandos. We also have an update on a Mr. Terrific TV show that's currently being developed at DC Studios by Alan Heinberg from The Sandman. And honestly, bravo. I love Mr. Terrific. I loved him from the comics. I love how he was used in the Superman movie. Honestly, he was probably one of the best parts of the movie. And I'm happy that they're using Mr. Terrific, who was established and a lot of the fans resonated towards in the Superman movie, in making a television show. HBO, love or hate them, I love them. I'm a big Game of Thrones guy. I just watched The Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I love anything HBO produces on their television side. And a Mr. Terrific television show would do numbers. Would be a fan favorite. And honestly, I'm just hyped that we're getting... Not everything needs to be a movie. We'll get to the Supergirl discussion later. But a Mr. Terrific does not need to be a movie. It could be a great 9, 8, 10 episode story arc on a television show. We also got a Gorilla Grodd, a comedy actor to play Gorilla Grodd. Maybe Seth Rogen could play Gorilla Grodd. I don't know. I also love Jimmy Olsen and how he had a kind of relationship with Eve Tossmacher in Supergirl. And I love Jimmy Olsen from the comics. I love him in the Superman movie. And I was kind of hesitant about why did they greenlit Jimmy Olsen, Gorilla Grodd comedy television show, and especially be under the DC Crime Atlas. But hey, let James Gunn cook, because one thing he does great is these television shows. I love Peacemaker season 1, and wasn't Peacemaker season 2 wasn't the best in my opinion. Felt it lost the plot there a little bit, and we haven't seen DC Lanterns yet. That's being directed by David Lindelof from Lost, one of the greatest television shows of all time, period. And I'm excited for Lanterns that's coming out in over a month. I'm fascinated to see how the relationships of the Green Lanterns are going to be with Hal. And this is exciting. If you're a DC fan, they're giving you content that you probably don't need, but we all want. Yes, sign me up for Mr. Terrific television show. Sign me up for a Jimmy Olsen television show. I would want a Flash television show. Not the CW Flash version, but not everything needs a movie, in which I'm about to discuss right now. So I did see Supergirl, and let me preface this and say I love the trailers going in. But I'm sad to report the Supergirl was just fine. It was not for me. I thought Millie Alcock was great. I loved her in House of the Dragon. Craig Gillespie. I watched Gorilla years ago. Emma Stone was phenomenal in that movie. I thought Craig's work on that movie itself was great. And I was excited about him taking over the Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow comic book and making it into a live action movie. But some of my issues were I didn't feel like Jason Momoa Lobo was needed. I thought the villain, Krem, did not work for me. He was kind of pointless. I love Millie in the movie. All this hate she's getting online is unwarranted. Talking about her looks and stuff, like, come on, like, judge her by her performance, not by her looks, because she's honestly a beautiful, amazing woman. And I love Supergirl. I did not like the Supergirl movie. I have hope that in Man of Tomorrow they flesh out her character even more and being paired up with Clark, her cousin, because David Cornsworth introduced being Thread, Superman being Thread in this movie, with like flashbacks and stuff, was great. And yeah, like, I would not have done a Supergirl movie. I would have done a Supergirl television show. But the issue is, we already had a Supergirl television show with Melissa Benoist. But I could see James Gunn thinking like, hey, I want Supergirl to be set up in Superman, and immediately set up the next movie for the DCU, which I applaud. That's great. That's something that Kevin Feige would have done, like how he did with Captain Marvel. They introduced her, and then boom, they did the whole origin of the Captain Marvel movie. Captain Marvel did great at the box office. Supergirl did not do great at the box office. It was a flop. And props to Peter Safran to be going out there into the trades and admitting, you know what, it wasn't great for us. Supergirl underperformed at the box office, but that doesn't mean that the whole DCU is in shambles. We're going to learn from it, move on, and cannot wait for what's in store for Kara, Millie, and the rest of the DCU moving forward. Because Man of Tomorrow, by no means, Man of Tomorrow will be a box office hit. Superman did not reach the billion that a lot of people claimed that was going to bank. But Man of Tomorrow, after more people start watching Superman on streaming, Man of Tomorrow, I think it's going to make the whole billion at the box office. And with Brainiac as the villain, is chef kiss. Chef kiss. So we have to talk about the fandom, and a lot of the James Gunn is getting a lot of hate. In my opinion, some of it is warranted, because he's from day one when he took over this job, he's been saying some stuff in which, looking back on it, he probably should have never said it. He's been saying, well, we don't greenlit movies with bad scripts. I'm sorry, but Supergirl was a bad script. And I knew he was throwing shots at Kevin Feige and what Marvel has done, because, let's be honest, Marvel, since Endgame, has had some shaky grounds. They had a Kang. A lot of the projects that they're going to do with the whole Kang fiasco and pivot to Doctor Doom. But with the trades in general, they're just attacking James Gunn in DC Studios with especially the THR article that came out about 5 days ago, highlighting some friction behind the scenes, how DC Studios and James Gunn had a different cut of the Supergirl film compared to Craig's film that was a little bit longer. And at the end, DC decided to produce and put out their version of the film that had issues about the music and the pin drops, especially in the battle scenes. And James Gunn wanted one thing, Craig wanted another. Ultimately, it was Craig's music decision that over-trumped James Gunn's. But I mean, a lot of insiders do believe right now that James Gunn's contract either ends the end of this year or sometime at the end of 2027, which honestly, I hope that when Warner Brothers officially moves over to the Paramount and the Ellisons, that the Ellisons did not fire James and Peter right away. Like, give them some time. Yes, it's their Supergirl's like the second big movie of the franchise. It flopped. Superman did well. The real test is gonna be Clayface at the end of the year to see how audiences who love horror, and especially in October, I think that a lot of audiences will gravitate towards that movie. But the real test is Man of Tomorrow. If Man of Tomorrow underperforms, then you gotta close up shop. But with James, he needs to stay offline. Being online, and yes, he wants to engage with us, the DCU fans, is going to get him in trouble, because a lot of these trades, like he recently, I want to say some months ago, there was a big talk of like, oh, Man of Tomorrow is casting for the Wonder Woman spot, which James came out on Threads and ultimately denied that. Like, he can't constantly deny every rumors, even though it's false or true, on a daily basis. In which recently, since the Supergirl thing, he hasn't been as much online. And the DCU fandom, I mean, we lived through the Snyderverse. I love Snyder. I loved everything that he did. But I mean, you gotta call a spade a spade. The DCEU died on the hill, and James Gunn, being the savior of the DC franchise, who loved the comics, he's a big DC fan, and coming up, he was Kevin Feige's right hand man. DC was never going to get a Kevin Feige, but what they did get was James Gunn, and I do trust James Gunn. Some of his decisions I don't agree with. But yeah, I mean, that's part of life. And THR is saying that, oh, don't expect James Gunn being there much soon. I mean, people probably in there already want him out. But yeah, I mean, that's just life in general. A lot of people are going to like something. A lot of people are not going to like anything. But the moral of this all is DCU is not going away. Will someone else come in to take over the IP? Maybe. Will they reboot the franchise? Maybe. But honestly, if Lanterns performs great on the streaming, Clayface does great, Man of Tomorrow does great, I love Creature Commandos Season 2. If that does great, maybe he's going to get the extension by the Ellisons, the Paramount, the owners, and carry on, because we still haven't gotten his Batman. We got Matt Reeves' Batman coming out next year. It's going to be a hit. We all love Batman. We all love Superman. Stick with the core characters to build your franchise. Not that obscure characters like a Creature Commandos. Like, we're not going to see the authority in live action anymore, because over at DC Studios, they say, you know what? Our hands are tied. We can't be doing it. We have to establish our franchise to start. And we can't be doing all these side characters. So, yeah. That was all for our DC Wednesdays. Mondays, we're going to be covering things. Tuesdays, we're going to be doing some television talks. DC Wednesdays, every Wednesdays, I'll be doing a video on the DC topics. We're doing videos on Thursdays, and we're doing videos on Fridays. I want to say thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, comment below, subscribe to Zay's Reviews on X, Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday for DC Wednesdays, and I'll see you guys in the next